Please subscribe to my new channel, Theories Tales.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another stream, another video. Bob Iger has gone to say something that a lot of us have been saying for a very long time. Could be the start of something new, who knows, but I definitely have something to say about it. This comes from a guy who loves Star Wars on Instagram. I've been friends with him for a while, so he makes good posts. So if you want to check him out, feel free to do so. Not sure where the interview is from, but it's more recent. I think it's New York Times or something like that. So let's go ahead and check it out.
CEO of Disney admits that they have lost their way.
Creators lost sight of what their number one objective needed to be. We have entertained with values and having a positive impact on the world in many different ways. I'd use Black Panther as a great example of that. Entertain, and if you can infuse it with positive messages and have a good impact on the world, fantastic.
I'm gonna pause right there. So in the 1990s and 2000s, I felt like Disney did a really amazing job at this. I was a huge fan of Disney when I was a kid. I was born 1990. So in the 90s and all throughout pretty much the 2000s until maybe about 2007, I feel like that was like peak Disney era of Disney shows, Disney movies. It was just a really wholesome time. You know, like they made movies that were great. There was no agenda pushing. There was no bullshit. It was really just about telling a good story and entertaining. And they built a really good name for themselves. And I remember when I went to Disneyland, in particular Toontown, when I was about 10 years old, my parents took me, and that was the first and only vacation that I had with my parents after they divorced when I was 3. And they did this because my grandma died. So we had a vacation together at Disneyland. And it was a really beautiful experience for me. So I was a big fan of Disney growing up, like many of us were. But somewhere along the way, they did lose their way. Something became corrupt, something became weird and different. And that's what Bob's gonna pretty much talk about here, which in essence, all of it is his responsibility. So he's trying to put the blame on someone else. It's his fault.
Fantastic, but that should not be the objective. When I came back, what I've really tried to do is to return to our roots, which is, remember, we have to entertain first. It's not about messages.
It's not about
Yeah, full of shit, in my opinion, because it's always now been about messages and interjecting agendas and politics and all of the crap that he wants to put into it's not necessarily crap, the topics that are being brought up in the movies, but we don't want that. You know, it's like watching shows with ads. It takes you out of the whole experience. Let's keep the story going. Let's keep the story running and just tell good stories and give people a nice escape, give them a good message when you need to, but stop with the politics, stop with the agendas.
Over the last few years, all of the companies that Disney owns, from Star Wars to Marvel to Pixar, have been trying to spread political messages instead of giving us great content. With that being said, is this really Disney trying to fix these issues, or do you think there's just no hope left for this company? Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, admits that they have lost their...
Yeah, so I personally, and I'd love to see more of the full interview, but I personally think that Bob is so delusional, or, you know, he's just playing it really good for TV, where he thinks that somewhere we lost our way. Like, dude, you're literally in charge of Disney. If you didn't like something, you should have changed it. Yeah, you went away for what, a year, and you came back, a couple of years, and you came back. Bob Chapek was in there, another Bob, and, you know, he did a shit job too. So it's like, you were in charge of Disney for so many years. Star Wars came out, Marvel came out, all these projects came out. Mind you, the Marvel movies were fantastic up until Endgame, right? Up until, I would say, even Infinity War. Endgame, I thought, was really horrible because of the whole time travel crap. I didn't like it, but some people did. But then he passed it down to Bob, or got fired or left or whatever the hell happened, and then he came back, and it's still the same crap. It's even worse than it was before. So it's like, what are you really trying to fix? If you're that powerful in Disney, man, you can just snap your fingers, be like, we're not doing this, and that's it. You know, he was there and responsible for all the Star Wars films and projects. He was watching, I remember for, I think it was The Rise of Skywalker, he was watching the film in some sort of a press screening, or not even press screening, a screening before it even went to the press or anybody else. And apparently he was not really happy with what was going on with the film. So who knows how true all that stuff is, right? So yeah, cool. Step in the right direction to acknowledge at least that they're pushing agendas and pushing all of this crap on us, instead of just telling good stories, which is at the end of the day all we want.
their way.
Creators lost sight of what their number one...
The creators lost sight, but you are in charge of the creators, right? That is the whole point of your job, Bob, is to literally oversee preparations of everybody. If these guys are losing sight, then that means you're losing your control over them, and in turn losing control over the company.
One objective needed to be. We have entertained with values and having a positive impact on the world.
true, like when I was a kid.
In many different ways. I'd use Black Panther as a great example of that. Entertain, and if you can infuse it with positive messages and have a good impact on the world, fantastic.
Yeah, do you guys remember Jungle to Jungle back in the day? It was one of my favorite movies with Tim Allen. But then you got the shows, Even Stevens, Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven. There were so many shows on Disney that I like. Recess, I think it was also Disney, wasn't it? And there's just so many different shows on Disney. Oh, maybe Recess wasn't Disney. I don't know. But anyways, what I'm saying is back in the day, Disney was, they've fallen from grace.
But that should not be the objective. When I came back, what I have really tried to do is to return to our roots, which is, remember, we have to entertain first. It's not about messages.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes, Bob, in the next run of projects that you have going on. Particularly The Acolyte. We'll see what happens there. But hey, I'm rooting for Star Wars always, and I want good products and good shows, and I just want to be entertained. So let's see what this guy says. No, that's not the problem. The problem is the level of fan service they're trying to combine with the fear of some. No, not at all. Political messages are good. No. Andor blew my mind, and messaging or not, Disney has still tons of potential. Yeah, they have tons of potential, of course, but you can't, just like relationships, you can't fall in love with someone's potential. You have to fall in love with the reality. What are they giving you? What's Disney giving us right now? A whole bunch of crap, right? Their shows are just run way too long. You have a show that's literally can be told within 2 episodes, and they take that scripture, they drag it out into 8 episodes, and they give us a whole bunch of filler junk just so we continue to subscribe to their service every month. So they're making another $10 or $15 or $20, whatever it is now. Keep upping the price, right? So it's just a reminder that Iger greenlit most of these projects that have been bombed, and not Chapek. Yes, and he's blaming Chapek for everything and blaming the creators. It's like, dude, you're in control of everything. They really missed the mark on The Last Jedi. They just pushing the woke agenda, but thankfully it didn't work, and I hope it does back to normal, but it won't. Disney better fix the issue and put an end to Rey. They could have made Rey such a better character, but they didn't. That's the problem, is that they could have really made her a really interesting and amazing character, but they decided to go a really horrible route with her, not really have any character development, and then also overshine her to dim out Luke, and I think that was a major problem. They're losing money, it's gotta stop. This is what happens when a company goes woke, trying to force the far left agenda in everything they make. Yeah, I mean, look, they're taking a whole bunch of stories like what he said, and he's literally alluding to it. He's like, it's not about messages, it's not about agendas, we have to tell stories. It's like, oh, no shit, Bob. That's kind of what you were always doing. You're supposed to be doing that for years and years. I mean, like, Walt Disney's probably rolling in his grave right now, this is only in the last, I'd say, 15 years that they really lost their way. So, yeah, everyone, dude, like, you can read the comments, you see kind of like what the whole rhetoric is about this. Too much social justice. Disney is rotten from the ground up with woke activists. Don't give Disney a penny. Starve the beast. But if you show these comments and stuff to people, they're gonna be like, no, these are all just extreme conservatives, blah blah blah. It's like, is it though? Can all these people be saying the exact same thing just because they come from one cut of a cloth? I don't think so. I think there's much more to this. But hey, I guess we'll see. I hope this is a step in the right direction, that he's actually acknowledging what is going wrong, and maybe we'll see some actual change in some good stories. At the end of the day, I don't care if it's a man or woman they're talking about in the stories or focusing on. As long as a good story, we have good character development, that's all that matters. End of the day. Here's to good Star Wars and good movies going forwards. Leave a like on the video. May the Force be with you always.